TSSC is the Toyota Production System Support Center. We have been developing and refining and improving our manufacturing system for over 70 years. We share our manufacturing know-how with organizations throughout North America. The Toyota Production System is basically an organizational culture that consists of three key elements. It starts off with a basic philosophy about how you're going to run the business, how you're going to engage your employees. That philosophy is coupled with some technical tools. And then the third piece of this system is a managerial role, which is to develop people to surface problems and solve problems to make improvements. So when we see companies that are a good fit, that we can help out and it strengthens the economies and the communities and then suppliers, we think that's a very special, unique way that we can make our contribution.
Herman Miller started over 100 years ago and has been one of the big innovators of both office furniture and home furnishings.
To lose Herman Miller, it would have devastated the whole town. My father-in-law worked here. My husband also works here, so I don't know where I would be.
This is the beating heart. If these lines left, it affect this plant, the plant next door, plus other companies.
Customers were actually looking to be able to order smaller quantities of furniture and to be able to get them more quickly. We didn't have the ability to meet the challenge in front of us, so we approached Toyota to help us.
Every organization that we partner with, we ask for a commitment up front that nobody is going to be laid off or lose their job as a result of these improvements.
The first thing that happened was Toyota spent time side by side with us on the shop floor, understanding our process and understanding what our current situation was, and being able to see where the opportunities were.
We started working on one line, which is a filing cabinet manufacturing line that had a very pressing need.
We had multiple assembly lines making the same product, and then we had assembly cells where we were doing the low volume product. So we would build a product complete in that cell. With Toyota's help, we were able to develop one assembly line that could build that product from start to finish with each worker just doing a part of the job.
In the technical dimension, there are two main pillars of the Toyota production system. One is just-in-time, and the other is built-in quality. For the just-in-time, that basically means we want to work for a state where when a customer makes an order, we can deliver their product one by one immediately. So to do that in a very complex manufacturing environment like we have here, what we would like is the customer makes an order, we can make the filing cabinet immediately. To make the filing cabinet immediately, we need to paint it immediately. To paint it immediately, we need to stamp it and make the welded parts immediately.
Previously, when we were to switch from one type of pedestal filing cabinet to another, we would need to move all of the components away from the assembly line. Everybody on the line basically took a break for about 20 minutes, and then the material handlers would bring in the next lot of parts and set up the line. Then we'd call the workers back and start making the new product. And what we needed to build is the capability to build any product at any time. So we had to move to smaller containers, have every type of component on the line so that we could quickly switch from one type of product to another. We call that instantaneous changeover.
It's more of a one-piece flow. We get an order in, we do what that customer wants and no more, and then it goes out. We had lots of racks all over the place that were stacked from the floor to the ceiling. Whenever you needed something, you were digging through tubs, totes, wherever you could find parts.
We would typically only paint one color a day. Beginning of the week, we'd start out with lighter colors. By the end of the week, we were painting brown or black. We had to develop a faster capability to change over so we could truly manufacture what the customer wanted on that particular day.
Everybody just kind of gave out their own little ideas on what we could do to improve the processes.
They came up with a manifold idea that really reduced the time significantly.
Within a couple seconds, I can do a color change. I'll change from this color automatically into the next color. A lot faster, a lot more efficient.
So that gave us a whole new capability to paint what the assembly line needed right when they needed it. Then we needed to move upstream from there to the welding and fabrication departments so that they could do the same thing.
Our setups were the biggest issues we had. They would take sometimes 4 or 5 hours just to get a machine set up.
We were expecting that we were going to have to spend a lot of money on equipment to be able to do changeovers quickly. And what Toyota taught us was really we just needed to coordinate the work of the team members so that each person was doing a portion of the changeovers, kind of like a pit crew in the Indianapolis 500.
When they first told me that we'll be doing 10-minute setups, I just laughed. It'll never be done. But here we are today.
For the filing cabinet line, they got some major results in a couple areas. They reduced the customer lead time from 60 hours down to less than 4. Their productivity tripled. Those are huge results to their current customers that has helped them increase their volume and get more customers.
We took the learning we got from our pilot line, spread it across that initial plant, and then we formed pilot lines in our other plants to be able to do the same thing, multiply the impact.
They have spread it to the chair factory, where they're performing at a very high level, making chairs every 17 seconds with very sophisticated TPS logistics system that they develop mostly on their own.
Toyota was encouraging us to just try little things that you could do quickly without spending any money to just improve the work a little bit. We counted the number of those improvements that we were putting in place. It was about 100 a month. Over the course of a year, the average amount of time we saved with each improvement was 0.1 seconds. Doesn't sound like very much, does it? But as you add that up, it comes up to freeing up 3 people from that line at the end of the year. And now they were able to go work on a new product that we're producing.
When we first moved the chair plant into this facility, we had about 5 chair lines, and today we have 19. And we were jammed back then, and today we have lots of room. This commitment to not only improvement and being more efficient, but being reliable and have high quality, it also frees up a lot of space. So what that does is it allows us to actually bring more seating lines in this plant. The opportunity to have more employees goes way up, not down.
We called it the Herman Miller Production System initially. Over time, we changed that to the Herman Miller Performance System because we recognized that the same concept applied not only in production, but in our other processes that support production.
For the Toyota production system to take root, there are some fundamental roles of top management. They need to lead the charge to build a culture of improvement.
And it's really a system of being able to highlight problems, then be able to react and respond, and have the development of the people who can solve problems to actually advance the system.
On the chair lines, the chair base had to be inverted and then put casters into that chair base that was causing problems. A facilitator found some spare parts and built a rack that worked on gravity.
It's right in the position the team member needs it, and every time they withdraw one, gravity advances it.
Today, that chair rack is on every one of our 13 chair lines in the US, in the UK, and in China. And it's all because that facilitator had an idea and he wouldn't let go of it. When we had made improvements, the real question arose, well, what are we going to do with the extra people? What we ended up doing is freeing up the most enthusiastic employees to become part of an improvement team that would work on the next big problem that needed to be solved.
As we started our improvement process, it was really my first opportunity to step away from my assembly role and contribute in a different way.
Now Herman Miller is able to compete on lead time, and more than that, they have taken it on their own to spread and develop TPS and their suppliers right here in Western Michigan, which has strengthened the economy in this region of Western Michigan.
We have to build a supply base right around the plant. And we do that in all of our locations across the world because it gives you the ability to be flexible to the customer. So what's a competitive advantage? Well, look, you can order from me and you can change within 10 or 15 days. You order from someone else on the other side of the world, you don't get that flexibility, right? So what it's done is it's not only given us a competitive advantage for investors and for customers, but it actually translates right to the bottom line.
Before we started working with Toyota, our strategy for operational excellence was really automation. And our dream was actually a lights out factory where we didn't need team members. And what we found was the automation was really complicated, it broke down a lot, and guess what? It never had the ability to improve itself. It was never better than the day it was placed on the floor. And what we learned from Toyota is that the team members are actually an asset that over time becomes more and more valuable. They're going to bring their energy and their ideas to work because they are just as vested in making this successful as the rest of the company is, and equipment does not have that same kind of dedication. We're producing the same volume of product today that we were in 1996 with 60% less space and equipment, which has really helped to make us competitive in the marketplace. So that's a powerful story in our mind.